The next topic is collision. So first of all, we will see an elastic collision. The elastic collision is between two bodies of mass m1 and m2. Now the m2 is attached with a massless spring. The spring does not have a mass but has a spring constant of a small k. The velocity of the bodies, the initial velocity of the bodies are shown by u1 and u2 respectively, and both are moving in the positive x direction. Okay. Now the velocity u1 means the initial velocity of the mass 1 is greater than initial velocity of the mass 2. Okay. So when m1 is moving faster than m2, it means m1 will touch m2 at some point of time. But since a spring is attached to the mass m2, that's why the mass m1 will touch that a spring on the left side. So after a time interval of t, the spring will start compressing because m1 will touch the left end of the spring, and afterwards it will keep on compression. It will undergo compression, and the compression will generate a restoring force which will have a value of minus of k into x, where k is the spring constant or a stiffness constant and x is the displacement. And this restoring force of the spring pushes both m1 and m2 away. Okay, so m1 gets accelerated in the x direction, positive x direction, and m2 gets deaccelerated because of this force minus of kx. Okay, so as the spring is compressed, it pushes both m1 and m2 with equal force of minus of k into x. So minus k into x is the restoring force that is formed in the spring. Okay. Now due to this, m1 is deaccelerated, means a speed and velocity starts reducing, as I have said, and m2 is accelerated, the speed and velocity starts increasing, as I have said. Okay. Means the m2 was the initial. Okay. So this is m2. The restoring force is pushing both m1 and m2. So m2 gets accelerated and m1 gets deaccelerated. Okay, because a negative force is acting on m1, and initially both were moving with a constant velocity of u1. Okay. Now the spring keep getting compressed as long as the u1 is greater than u2, means the velocity of mass m1 is greater than mass m2. So up to this condition, the spring will keep getting compressed. But after a additional time interval of delta t, means after a time interval of t plus delta t, both m1 and m2 achieve equal velocity. Means a spring is totally compressed now, and both masses are moving with equal velocity v. Okay, and this is the point of time when the potential energy of the spring is maximum and kinetic energy of the blocks is minimum. Okay. So this happens at time t plus delta t. So at time t, before this time, before t plus delta t, u1 was greater than u2. But at time t plus delta t, the both velocity becomes equal, or an interval of time, means for an interval of time of delta t, both m1 and m2 have the same velocity. But after that time interval t plus delta t, now v2 is greater than v1, because v2 was accelerated and v1 was deaccelerated. That's why v1 gets reduced and v2 gets increased. So after a time interval of t plus delta t, the spring starts stretching to attain its natural length. And during the whole process, there was no any external force associated with the motion. That's why the linear momentum is conserved. Means initial linear momentum is equal to final linear momentum. Also, energy is also conserved. So that we will see in the next. So up to time t, this was the linear momentum m1 u1 plus m2 u2. At time t plus delta t, the linear momentum is m1 plus m2 into equal velocity. Both m1 and m2 are moving with same velocity v. And after the time duration of t plus delta t, the linear momentum p is equal to m1 v1 and is equal to m2 v2. And both three equations are equal to each other. Okay, because this p is constant one. Because no external force is acting on the system, and hence the linear momentum of the system is conserved. Now energy of the system. So energy of the system, we know that energy is always conserved. Okay, whether the energy becomes useful or useless, the energy is always conserved. Okay, but there is no friction and no resistance or no damping in the system that we are dealing with. Hence, there is no loss of energy, and whatever the energy it is in the form of kinetic energy of the blocks, means m1 and m2, and potential energy that is stored in the spring. Okay. So up to time t plus delta t, this energy is equal to half into m1 u1 square plus half into m2 u2 square plus k into x square. So k is the spring constant or a stiffness constant, and x is the compression of the spring, which is equal to E, and constant total energy of the system. At time t plus delta t, both m1 and m2 are having the velocity v. That's why half m1 plus m2 v square plus half k x max square, because at this point when they have equal velocity, the compression is maximum. So this is the maximum compression x max, which is also equal to E. After time interval t plus delta t, when a spring has attained its natural length, means there is no compression, then energy is equal to half into m1 v1 square plus half into m2 v2 square, and this is also equal to E, total energy of the system, which is also conserved. So energy conservation of kinetic energy happens in elastic collision, but it was associated with a spring also. That's why kinetic energy plus potential energy was conserved. Now we have coefficient of restitution. So coefficient of restitution is denoted by E. A small e is equal to velocity of separation by velocity of approach, which is equal to v2 minus v1 by u1 minus u2. So v2 is the final velocity of mass m2, and v1 is the final velocity of the mass m1. u1 is the initial velocity of the mass m1, and u2 is the initial velocity of the mass m2. Now this coefficient of restitution is equal to 0 for perfectly inelastic collision, because when this becomes equal, velocity of separation is equal, means v2 is equal to v1, because velocity of separation will be 0. That's why v2 is equal to v1, and this happens in perfectly inelastic collision, means both bodies m1 and m2 have a equal final velocity. Okay. Now when 0 means E is greater than 0 and less than 1, it is known as elastic collision, and when E is equal to 1, this is known as perfectly elastic collision. So in perfectly elastic collision, both linear momentum and kinetic energy is conserved. Means energy is conserved. Means kinetic energy is conserved. Okay. Both linear momentum and kinetic energy are conserved in perfectly elastic collision. So in perfectly elastic collision, the material regains its shape. Okay, whatever the initial shape, it in perfectly elastic collision. Okay, so in perfectly elastic collision, material regains its shape, and initial kinetic energy is equal to final kinetic energy. Summation of initial kinetic energy is equal to summation of final kinetic energy, and summation of initial linear momentum is equal to summation of final linear momentum. Okay, and you should know that on this system, because if linear momentum is conserved, means no external force is acting also in this case. Okay, so perfect elastic collision. Now perfectly inelastic collision, v2 is equal to v1, means final velocity of mass m1 is equal to final velocity of mass m2. Also linear momentum is also conserved because no external force is acting. So m1 u1 is equal to m2 u2 plus m1 plus m2 into v. V is the final velocity of both m1 and m2. But in perfectly inelastic collision, the kinetic energy of the final is less than kinetic energy of the initial. Means there is loss of energy in perfectly inelastic collision. Now we will see a two-dimensional non-head-on collision. So non-head-on collision means the final velocity is not in the direction of the initial velocity. So it's a two-dimensional case because it was a linear only. We are moving in one line, but now we are going in a plane. Okay, so it's a 2D motion. And also here also linear momentum will be conserved because no external force is acting on the system. So m1 was moving with velocity u1 and b was at rest. Okay, so b was initially at rest. Now finally, both after collision, m1 starts moving with velocity v1 and m2 starts moving with velocity v2, and both make angle alpha with the x-axis and angle beta with the x-axis respectively. So along x-axis momentum is conserved. So m1 u1 is equal to half into m1 v1 cos alpha plus m2 v2 cos beta. Also along y-axis momentum is conserved. So initially there was no motion along y-axis. That's why a zero vector is equal to m1 v1 sin alpha plus m2 v2 cos beta. No, sin beta. Okay, it's written cos beta, change it to sin beta. Okay, m2 v2 sin beta. Okay, m1 v1 sin alpha plus m2 v2 sin beta. Okay, change it to sin beta. Also, if collision is perfectly elastic, kinetic energy is conserved. So summation of initial kinetic energy is equal to summation of final kinetic energy. So half m1 u1 square, because u2 was at rest, so u2 was equal to 0, means m2 was at rest, so u2 is equal to 0. So m1 half into m1 u1 square plus half into m1 v1 square plus half into m2 v2 square, because finally mass m1 moves with velocity v1 and mass m2 moves with velocity v2. Now we will, because linear momentum we have understood, so we should know about impulse also, because impulse is that thing which causes the linear momentum. That's why impulsive force is the force which can change the momentum of a body on which it acts, means linear momentum of the body on which it acts. Okay, so impulsive force is the force which can change the linear momentum of the body on which it acts. Now the change of linear momentum produced by an impulsive force is equal to Pf minus Pi is equal to summation of dP, means integration of dP, and integration of Ti to Tf, dP by dt into dt. So dP by dt means change of linear momentum with respect to time is known as force. So F dt, and this product F dt is known as impulse. Okay. So when you have the absolute values, you can just do the PF minus PI, and if you have variable values, then you have to do the integration, and this integration of FDT means area under the FT curve. Okay. If it had been summation, it means areas, summation of areas. So integration also means summation of areas under FT curve. Okay, so this is one curve that has been made on the FT diagram, and this means changing linear momentum. Okay. So thank you.